Hi guys, my name is Laura. Welcome back to my channel. It has been 6 days since my last cheese slice, so, I just wanted to check in today and talk to you about how I'm eating, how I'm doing, a little bit of a life update, and then also just why am I eating 2 meals a day all of a sudden. I have been a huge proponent of being successful with a 1 meal a day approach with carnivore and fasting, and recently over the last couple of weeks I have had to make some changes, and I found that I've actually needed to eat 2 meals a day. So let's get into talking about why that's happening. For those of you that are new, I lost 120 pounds in about 10 months on a carnivore diet with eating meat and fasting. I outlined that in my initial video, so you guys can check that out if you want to, but that was all in 2019. Over the course of 2020, like so many people, I struggled, and I'd lost 120 pounds, and kind of at that point I was like, now what? How do I maintain it? And then with everything that was going on in the world, I struggled. I ate too much. I gained weight. I went up and down quite a bit over the course of 2020. And near the end of last year and now into 2021, I have really been focusing on healthy weight loss again. How can I maintain that? What's sustainable for me? Over the last now almost 3 years that I've been doing a carnivore diet, I have loved the most eating 1 meal a day. People always ask, how can you eat so much? Why do you love eating 1 meal a day? And my answer has always been, when I was eating a standard American diet, I could eat a whole pizza and ice cream at the same time, and it was no big deal. And so then coming to carnivore, what I loved the most was being able to sit and eat 2 big ribeyes, a huge portion of meat in 1 meal, feel really full, and then wait a long time again before I ate. And that balance of eating lots of fatty meat and protein and fasting was what made me the most successful. And I have loved that for almost 3 years now. It's been working for me. However, it has officially been 3 years since I've eaten a whole pizza and ice cream at a time. And especially over the last year, I just find myself eating a little bit less in every meal. Over the last 6 months especially, I have really struggled with snacking. I wake up in the morning and I'm hungry, but it's not my meal time, so I grab a slice of cheese or I grab some bacon and I munch on it. Then I eat my meal at lunch. And then come afternoon, evening again, I start munching again and have that cheese or bacon or grab some leftover meat, whatever that is. And that's been a lot of my struggle. So then I end up eating all throughout the day. I'm constantly grazing. It's a lot of what contributed to my weight gain and my weight fluctuations a lot last year. And it has really been mentally hard on me because I'm hard on myself about why am I snacking. I am kind of beating myself up about it a lot. And so then it just hasn't been a good place for me. And I haven't felt really solid. And so then when I go back to my strict 1 meal a day, it's kind of mentally taxing because I'm just not feeling satisfied enough. And so recently I, realized once again I was snacking on too much cheese. And so I decided to cut out those cheese slices. Listen, I'm not going so far to say I'll never eat cheese. I eat cheese with my meal. I have no issues with that, but I can't be eating 2 slices of cheese at 8 o'clock, 2 at 10, and then 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock at night and put the kids to bed and have some more, just that nibble of stuff all throughout the day is causing me a problem. And I've been working really hard to cut that out. And so I've done that. I haven't had any cheese slices. We ran out. I didn't buy any. I won't let any in the house for a while right now, just because I know I can't handle that temptation. And so since I've cut out the cheese slices though, I've been fantastic about sticking to my 1 meal originally. However, I was finding that in the evenings, I was so much hungrier than I was expecting. And I had a talk with a friend, and I had a talk with my husband, Chris, and they both kind of pointed out to me, Chris pointed out at first about the fact that he's like, you're eating so much less in your 1 meal a day. You don't eat 2 pounds of meat anymore during your 1 meal. You're eating substantially less than that. You're eating closer to 1 pound of meat, and some days you get full before that if it's a really fatty piece of meat. He's like, you're not eating the same amount of meat at your 1 meal that you were 2 years ago. You were supplementing that throughout the day with cheese. So you're opening up this eating window substantially. You're adding in all these tons of calories from cheese, and then you're not hungry enough for your main meal. Well, now cutting out all of those other cheese snacks, I can't eat as much as I used to. I think it's just been that it's been so many years of me not having this pizza and ice cream in one sitting that my body just wants less food at a time now. And so I'm feeling satisfied and full with less food. The problem is, and what my friend and my husband pointed out to me is, that's not enough food. That's why you're hungry. That's part of the reason that you're reaching for cheese all the time, is you're not eating enough. When I did happened to count up the calories of what I was eating in that one meal, that one little ribeye that I was eating, or that one piece of meat, or, the shrimp and the butter and the steak, is not really enough to sustain me for a full 24 hours. You can't do one meal a day if you're not eating enough in that one meal to give you all the nutrients and calories and energy that you're gonna need for the entire day. And so the last week or so, I have been eating a second meal in the evenings. I'm trying to keep it fattier, and I'm making sure it's not cheese. If I'm gonna eat something else, I'm making sure it's a meal. But to say that it's been an easy transition is not really accurate. It's mentally difficult. It's a mental hurdle for me to allow myself to eat that second meal in the evenings, and to tell myself that that's what I need and that's okay, and that's what your body needs right now. Because I've spent 3 years trying to focus on eating one meal and cutting out all the extra snacks. Well, these aren't snacks now. This is a meal that my body needs because I'm not eating enough during my one meal. And that kind of leads to the question of how much do you know you should be eating during your one meal? I don't know. I can't tell you that for yourself. And I can't even tell that it's not an exact amount for myself. What I know is just based on how I feel. In the evenings, once I cut out that cheese and those snacks all day, I just found myself substantially hungrier. And it was not the kind of hunger that I get when I'm fasting. It's the kind of hunger that's just like you feel like you're gonna eat your arm and you're not feeling satisfied. And so it's really clear that I was supplementing in all of that extra cheese because I wasn't getting enough fat or food during my one meal. And so cutting that out has kind of brought awareness to that. So I am happily eating 2 meals a day for a little while. Now, for instance, we went to Fogo de Chao the other day for lunch, and I ate so much in that one meal, I certainly didn't need a second meal that day. So it's not like a blanket, I'm now eating 2 meals forever kind of thing. I am going to film. I think I'm going to start tomorrow with you guys, and I'm going to film maybe for a week or two what I'm eating every day. Part of it is for me to track and to hold myself accountable, and then part of it is I'll try to explain when I think I need a second meal and when I don't. Today for lunch, I had a steak and a little bit of rotisserie chicken. Just as I was getting it ready for the kids, I kind of munched on some chicken. I was full and I didn't even finish my one ribeye, which is crazy because I used to eat flat out 2 pounds of ribeye in every single meal. And now I have a ribeye that's just over a pound and I can't even finish it in my one meal anymore. So I definitely know that that's well under 1,000 calories. That's not a healthy amount of food for somebody to be eating, even if you are trying to lose weight. And so I will need to make sure I'm eating a second meal. I think it can be helpful to track sometimes for a couple days just to see and get a realistic picture. Unless you're actually paying attention, you have no idea sometimes how much you're eating. I have said this before, but when I'm eating a bunch of bacon and eggs looks like a lot of food on your plate and it feels like a lot of food when you're eating it, but there's not a lot of calories there and it's not enough to sustain me for a full 24 hours. So while I am one of the biggest proponents of a 1 meal a day approach, I think it's a perfect way to approach weight loss. It's super helpful for me in working on food addiction and snacking and overcoming mindless eating. I think it was the perfect tool for me for the first 3 years of where I was at in my weight loss. And it is absolutely what I needed coming from an overeating background with a standard American diet to be able to get my appetite and my food consumption under control. I feel like now I'm at a point 3 years in where I need to be able to open myself up to doing something different and realizing that maybe what I've been doing for the last 3 years, while it worked at the time, isn't necessarily what I'm going to be doing moving forward all the time, and that it's okay to make some changes and be more open to adapting to what my body needs now. I'm still doing a 48-hour fast occasionally. I think that's definitely a part of my weight loss. Over the last month, I have lost about 10 pounds. I have 2 months until my birthday, so I'm hoping to lose another 10 or 15 pounds in that amount of time, and we'll see kind of where my body wants to settle at and what's a healthy weight for me moving forward. But overall, I'm doing really well. I'm feeling mentally good. I have to take it one day at a time, especially giving up that cheese. It's that today is the day I can make it through no cheese today or no extra snacks of cheese slices today. Doesn't mean I can't eat anything. And that's where I've really checked myself with this is if you're hungry at 4 o'clock, it's not because of stress and it's not because of, it's not the cheese slices that's getting me. If I want to sit down and eat a bunch of bacon at 4 o'clock, that's because my body needed a meal. And that was a big realization for me, was that it's okay to eat outside of that meal window if that's what you need in the moment. And to be honest, it's taken me 3 years to start to figure out, to tell the difference between true hunger and emotional hunger or stress hunger and where all that's coming from. And I'm still working to figure it out. So this is not a quick fix. We didn't gain the weight in a couple months. We're not going to lose it all and overcome all of our issues with food in a couple of months. So be patient with yourself. Don't be afraid to try something new, and really stick to it. Take it one day at a time and set some goals for yourself. Let me know in the comments below what works best for you. Are you a 1 meal a day, 2 meals? Do you enjoy a snack every now and again? I think that there's, a lot of ways that people can be successful in this way of eating, and I love to see all the variety that people have been able to incorporate into their lives on what works best for them. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for those next What I Eat videos.